What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Moto Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Nesler. We come to you each and every week to talk to you about the business of moto. Guests in the industry that have done incredible things, guests in the industry that are building incredible things, and sometimes even special guests from outside the industry that can bring you some incredible knowledge to help you build your moto career. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Nesler. We have another great guest for you today. I'm excited to chat with and dive into the company he's built, the brand he's built. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this episode. Before we dive in, I want to thank some of the folks that make this show possible. Obviously, RacerX. Be sure to subscribe or renew your subscription to be able to continue to support the leading motocross publication in the world. And they support this show. It wouldn't be possible without them. You can do so at racerxonline.com/moto marketing. Also, a big shout out to our friends over at 100%. They help make this show possible as well. Everybody knows the name 100%, unprecedented global leader in moto goggles, but they make a lot more than that these days. Mountain bike gear, helmets, protection, sports sunglasses, all kinds of great things to keep you looking good on and off the track, as well as Michelin. If you haven't seen Randy Richardson's little recap video of him down at Day in the Dirt down south, be sure to go check that out over on, I think it's on Verb Moto's channel. But everybody knows Randy from Michelin. And everybody knows about Michelin tires for their motorcycle, maybe your truck or whatever it is, but a lot of people don't realize that Michelin got their start making bicycle tires, and they still make world-class bicycle tires. We use them on the Impact EMTB Michelin race team that competes in the GNCC series, so be sure to give those a try and check those out. And then last but not least, my company, Impact Results. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my company, so I want to give them a shout-out as well. If you're an e-com brand in the moto space or the cycling space and you want to sell more of your products, that's what we help people do through targeted social, targeted search, web design, anything you need to increase your sales, we got you covered. All right, today's guest, man, somebody that I've been wanting to have on for a while. We've had multiple conversations. I've gotten to know him over the past 6 to 12 months, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy today's guest. We have Darren Hurrell coming to us. He is the founder, the guy who started the brand Moto Loco. Maybe you saw Moto Loco on our friend, The Return of Dio, Daniel Olszewski. I know reps a lot of his products on his channel, or maybe you own some of it. It's a really, really cool company. He's just a visionary, and he's doing it from the other side, across the pond, as they say. So, Darren, I appreciate you joining us today, man. I'm really excited to have you on. Looking forward to diving into your story, and man, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so that everybody knows, where are you coming to us from today?
So today we're in not so sunny Nottingham in England.
Okay.
So you might even be able to hear the rain on the race fan.
Yeah, it's typically pretty rainy this time of year over there for you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Pretty rainy most of the time of the year, so
that's awesome.
There we go. But yeah, so I'm coming from Nottingham.
Awesome, man. We got connected. I think you listened to the show. You and I started talking on Instagram, and then it went to Zoom calls, and we've had multiple conversations about multiple different things. And man, you make an awesome product, and we'll talk about that. But you don't talk much about it, but you've kind of dropped things here and there to me. Man, you're just a successful serial entrepreneur. You've done a lot of really incredible things in and out of the moto space. And I always like to start with my guests just kind of talking about how they got into moto. And I think some of the businesses you've built in the past have nothing to do with moto, but now you're really building something special in the moto space. So talk to us about that. How, obviously Moto Loco, but how did you come to find yourself in the moto community, the moto space?
Sure. So I've probably loved motocross since I was perhaps as long as I can remember. I mean, one of my first memories of spending time with my family was watching my cousin race. And I was perhaps maybe 4 years old. I might have been a little bit younger. And I just remember this was back in the kind of Kurt Nichol days, and going to motocross and seeing my cousin, who I didn't know he had those skills, was jumping a motocross bike much higher than I'd ever seen a bike jump before. So that was what really got me into motocross at a very early age. I see that racing and I see the jumping, and that was it. I was obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
So that was from maybe, like I say, 4 years old.
Wow. And you went on to, obviously, in your adult age, start building successful businesses. Can you give us just a quick rundown on some of the things that you've done before Moto Loco?
Sure. So my first business was building what I called interactive networks, but it was actually very early day social networks. So around about year 2000, we started to build some social networks in the music space where people could upload photos and they had an inbox and they could add themselves to attendance lists. In 2014, we had 16 of those in the music space. So although they weren't, and in fact, I think at the time we did have a couple of motocross ones, but they didn't take off as much as the music. But I've always kind of had a little touch on with motocross. So even when we was building the social networks, we went on to build the social network for Dirt Bike Rider and TMX News, which were the big publications in the UK. So I started racing when I was perhaps 13, and I've always kept in touch with the sport. All of the businesses that I've built have always been revolving around design, community, bringing people together. So off the back of the social networks, we used to do some quite big events, music events, and bring people together. So when Moto Loco come about, and we'll speak about that in a second, I've kind of applied everything I've ever known from business, which is design, quality, and community. And that's kind of what is at the heart of Moto Loco.
Yeah. So where did the concept of Moto Loco come from? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of gear brands, successful gear brands, that have existed well before you got the idea to do this. So it's a really competitive space to dive into, and you've done it successfully, very successfully. Where did that idea come from, and what made you say, you know what, I think I can do something here that's a little bit different than what everybody else is offering?
Okay, so one of the reasons, if we start with why I think the brand is becoming successful, is because I had this brand wasn't about money. This brand was, I knew I had the skill set to grow a brand. I've done it before. I've built great boards of directors. But this brand's from my father. So to cut a long story short, I was running a couple of fairly successful businesses, and this was August 2018. I had the idea for Moto Loco. It was in the back of my mind. But then unfortunately, my dad got diagnosed with terminal cancer. Now, when Dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer, I realized I probably spent too much of my career on those businesses. And I really wanted to go racing again. I wanted to go back to what we did as a kid. But without all of the great advice he used to give me on a Sunday. So we thought, right, let's go racing again. Let's go motocross. We got the bikes back out. And I decided, okay, well, so Moto Loco, I'm kind of skipping around, but the name had come about whilst I was in California. So I had an idea for a moto brand, but I didn't have the time to do it. I was in California. I was watching Axel Hodges jump the ramps at Fox Raceway, which was then Parla. And I said, oh, God, this guy's crazy. And somebody said, yeah, he's loco. And I was like, Moto Loco, what a cool name. So that was banked. And then Dad got poorly. And he got very cold. When you've got cancer, you get cold. So even if we were in a T-shirt, he was in a coat. So I wanted to get him some products made with our surname on the back and with the race number. And as I was looking around, there really wasn't anybody offering those products, not with nice design anyway. So we started off literally just making hoodies, and that went on to body warmers and jackets with name and number in the back. And that was the start of Moto Loco. And it was turning up at the tracks. We had Moto Loco on the wrist, which was your throttle hand. And people were asking, where can I get this product? And simply that was the start of it. It wasn't, I suppose, quite fast after we started the brand, it was put together as a proper business with a brand deck and some really quite senior people from the clothing space helping me. But at first, it was just about a little bit of fun and going racing with my dad.
Yeah. When did it get taken to the next level? And I guess a better way to ask this question is, what did it take? Had you built a brand like this before, to where, you know, there's manufacturing involved? I mean, you obviously have a background in design, but I feel like this is maybe a different level, more than one can do all on their own. Like, when did it graduate to that next level to where you're like, okay, I need to build maybe a team around this, and what inspired you to go all in on that?
So one of my businesses previously, in fact, the company that owns MotoLoko, was a company that made anything with a logo on it. So for predominantly for brands and for schools and universities. So that was kind of clothing, whether that be embroidered clothing or screen printed.
Okay.
So I've always been around that. You know, that business has had some very successful contracts. So the manufacturing side of things from the start was, before we went into, which we did quite quickly. But at first it was taking like products like hoodies that were readily available in the promotional space and branding them. And really the driver was somebody's surname and number. But I soon realized, you know, we need to go to that next step. We need to step it up with manufacturing. So with regards to sourcing factories, it was something that I'd been doing for years anyway at my other businesses. With regards to building a team, I was very lucky to have some friends that were very senior directors of some really big sports brands outside of the motor space. So it was quite easy for me to put together and assemble a team with that skill set. I had some holes in my knowledge, and I often think that as an entrepreneur, you just have to say yes, and you just have to go for it, and you learn as you go. And there was an element of that, and there was some mistakes at first, and we got it slightly wrong, and then you just keep developing and developing and developing. And that's what it was about. It was a brand built around community and feedback, which then led to other things. And and 65,000 products in 34 countries in 2 years.
Wow, man, that's crazy. That's an awesome accomplishment. Couple weeks ago when we were talking, so I had the privilege of, you were kind enough to send me over one of your thermal vests that I use at our mountain bike races, our e-bike races. And when we were talking about that, you'd mentioned that was really one of the main initial products, was these unique branded warmers.
Body warmers.
Yeah, body warmers. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting, because a lot of people will come out, with, they try to have, their own flashy line, a theme of gear. And you came out with something that I kind of think is more of a utility product. A lot of these guys, especially in the United States and the Carolinas, the Club MX guys, for example, when they're, riding early season, it's damn cold where I'm at. It's damn cold, and I don't want to necessarily always wear a hoodie. And what I thought was really cool about your product is, man, I was rolling around this past weekend in short sleeves, but I had that body warmer on, and I was super comfortable. So talk to me about that product. Was that one of the initial products, and why did you decide to go that direction?
Yeah, it was. So if you're in the UK, you predominantly focus on being warm. So this is, you have these cool kits, and you turn up at the track, and you end up putting on a hoodie or something. So the first product was a hoodie. Now, it's quite hard to ride in a hoodie, and you do sweat. So I wanted to have a product that was 100% breathable. So this is how the body warmers started to develop. The other thing for us is always about design. And I wanted the color range of the customization to match all of the main manufacturers. So your yellows and your oranges and your blues and so on. So we kind of mixed that. We mixed the option to express yourself with color to match your bike with a product that was going to keep you warm. And in the UK, you probably need that for about 8 months of the year. So wow. That was a great start. And that was the product that opened the doors to the next level. So we started off with hoodies and body warmers, and so my background social media. So we was always really good at building like communities. So very early day, we was already on the Instagram and Facebook, and we was building up a nice little following. And we were then approached by Bridgestone Masters, which is I guess they do have pro races, but kind of one level down from the British Championships. It's where the British champions of the future cut their teeth. Okay. And we were approached, and they said, we've seen what you're doing on social media. It's fantastic. want to come and be involved with the Bridgestone and have a shop. And that was where we started to level up. And that's really where we went to start to talk to the people. And, people were buying our caps and our hoodies and our body warmers. But it was at that point they said, hey guys, can you make some gloves? Can you make some kits? Can you take these designs and can you give us something that, my friend hasn't got? Can you, your items come in 11 colors. I want a kit that comes in 11 colors. And that's how we started to develop the brand into the kits, and really had to then level up with the factory and the materials and so on and so on.
Yeah. Something that I think is really cool about your all's products is you can, when you get your kit, whether it's a body warmer or a jersey, you can get your name and number sublimated into that. And I know that's a desire that a lot of people have in the States that not all gear brands, if hardly any gear brands, offer. You got to do the traditional old school iron on, and it doesn't last as long, and you've got this expensive kit and it starts to look bad after, several times of riding. Your guys' stuff is sublimated, and the font styles and all of that. I mean, it's really, fashion forward is not the right word, but it's on brand with what's popular right now. Was that something that you wanted to make sure was unique and different about your brand because you also saw a need for that, or where did the sublimation come from?
Yeah, so absolutely. So we started off with vinyl also, before we went into kits, and you have trouble with vinyl. Sometimes the odd lovely customer would wash it at 60 degrees and it would peel and so on, and it was an issue. So we knew we wanted to do customization, and customization enabled us to stock core products, but we didn't have to pre-print it. We made it as orders come in. So we started off with vinyl on the clothing items. When we started to move to kits, I wanted to do something a little bit different because nobody really knew us. In the UK, they knew us for our hoodies and body warmers, right, but we wasn't known worldwide or outside of the UK. So something had to be unique, and that was going to be our designs, the fact that the kits are interchangeable, and I'll go on to talk about that, and the sublimation. So we approached our factory and said, listen, rather than order 10,000 kits at a time, we want to come up with some designs, and each design's available in 11 colors. And then as people order them, we want you to make them. And they said, are you mad? And I said, a little bit. They said, do you realize how much work this is for us to make each jersey, each body warmer, each jacket, each hoodie as the order comes in? I said, listen, that's what we need to do. We need to make it happen. So it took a while, but that's what we do. When an order, so each of our designs, so if we use kits as an example, each of our kits, we have like 8 main designs. Each of those designs comes in 11 colors. They come from 3-year-old through to 5XL. Each of those products are made when the customer orders, which means that they're designed by our art workers with the name and number, and they're printed that way. And then the product is stitched. This isn't a product that's taken and then sublimated afterwards because the back's white. Yeah. This is made. So with your body warmer, even though you didn't have your name and number, it still went through that same process, and it would have been the same amount of time had you have had did you have a race number in the back of yours? I can't remember. Yep. You did. Yeah, so it was custom made. So it would have also been custom made had it not. And the reason for that is because it means we can offer such a vast range of designs. And all we have to, what we're committing to as a business is miles and miles and miles of material. Yeah. But the material is made into product when the order comes in.
Nobody else is doing that, right? I don't know the manufacturing process, but I don't think that any other major brand is doing it the way you're doing it. Because if for those that maybe aren't following, so the body warmer that I ordered, the vest, which was blue, and then I had my name and number sublimated on it. That vest was not developed and designed and hanging on a rack, and then somebody went and grabbed it and sublimated it. It was custom designed when I ordered it, stitched and everything after I ordered it. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So we have a set number of designs. So the design is set, but each design comes in 9 to 11 colors. Right. So when you put onto the website, you say, okay, I love that kit. I want that kit to match my gas or my Honda. I want it in red. I also want my name and number in the back or on the shoulder. I want my country flag on the shoulder. So you go through that it's really easy to use the website. And then at the end of it, it'll say, do you also want kind of like the matching body warmer, jacket and hoodie?
That's cool.
That order then comes into us. It goes to the factory. It's designed. Within a day or so, it's being made, and then it's shipped to us in the UK, and then we ship it out.
Yeah. Man, something that you're really, really talented at that I got very quickly on some of the conversations we've had. You're a very skilled marketer. Obviously, with this being more of a business show than a marketing show, even though the name is the Moto Marketing Podcast, mainly just talk business. Clue us in a little bit about what are some of the things that you've seen that resonates really well with your customers from a marketing perspective. I know you guys have a really strong Instagram presence, but what are some other things that you've done that you feel have been, valuable assets to growing your brand and the business from a marketing perspective?
Okay, so from a marketing perspective, I'd say it's the communication. It really is. I mean, obviously our marketing online, we involve the people. So if you are you're wearing one of our kits and you get a good shot and you send it to our Instagram or Facebook, chances are at some point we're going to feature that. So, with our competitors who do a great job, I've worn most of the competitors in the past. It's very rare that they're going to put you on their Instagram or Facebook. So,
right.
But for me, that sense of ownership was from in the past where I've had photos done and I've sent them into brands and so on, and you don't even get a reply. So if we take a step back, this business was about my dad. This business was about filling my dad's diary up with events to go to. So he would get to those events. His mind was strong enough to fight the cancer. He's now over month 40 and he was given 1 to 4 months. So wow. The brand was always had good intentions, and the brand for me was always about filling up my dad's diary. So that meant attending events. Attending events meant talking to the people. Well, that's no different to Facebook and Instagram. It's just you have to put the time in to reply. Now, a lot of brands don't have that time, or they outsource that, and maybe the replies are impersonal. Well, we have over 5 million views a month on social media. In December, we had 126,000 interactions, likes, shares, comments, and messages. We replied to every single one. And I think that is the unique thing about Moto Loco. And I'd like to think that's sustainable as we grow. We talk to the people. If anybody has a problem with a product, they come and they tell us. If we implement their feedback, they get the next product. They get the next prototype in order to test it. We talk to the people. It's a people's brand. So the social media platforms, which of course I understand fairly well, it's what I've done my whole career. They're there to enable us to put that media out there. Mm-hmm. People are behind it. So, and you'll see, we really mix up our social media with a mixture of professional photos and photography from our customers and our support riders.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, for anybody that's wanting to start a brand, of any type in the industry, Darren and what he's done with Moto Loco, just looking at their Instagram, it's a really good place to learn because he's done an awesome job with it. Man, is there anything coming, exciting, anything you guys are working on, product development, anything like that you can share that we might be able to see from you in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. So the products are constantly developing as we go. We're always constantly taking that feedback. The body warmer that you've got, the jackets, the hoodies, they're bulletproof. The gear is really, really good. It's up there with the big boys. But something that I'm always trying to do is we bring out. So if you buy a pair of our pants, and they come in 11 colors, as I said, they match 8 different jerseys. So the real unique thing about Moto Loco is that when you turn up, if somebody else has got the same kit on, or you want to change every race, you just change your jersey. So it was always trying to make the product better and better and better, because the offering, the ability to switch one pair of pants into 3 or 4 kits without having to outlay $200 a kit, that was already there. What we do find is, because we sell all around the world, it might be scorching hot and summer in Australia, and it might be freezing here and in Canada. So we needed the product to be a little bit more versatile with regards to the heat and the weather. So one thing that we've just bought is now on our new designs, as of maybe Friday, if we get it right, maybe Monday next week, every one of our jerseys you can purchase either in our normal material, or you can purchase it with air mesh arms or full air mesh.
Oh, wow.
So you still have access to all of the designs and all of the colors, but you tell us what material you want that jersey made for.
I love that.
So, so that was I think a really nice step forward. It means that if we launch new designs in the dead of winter in the UK and it's boiling hot in Australia, we can launch the design to both at the same time. It's a clever way to spend your marketing.
Yeah. Man, that is such a great, that's awesome. That's such a really, really cool concept that, again, I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody else does it that way. From everything being custom to, I really had no idea that you guys were doing this with the jersey, to where you can do regular, you can do air mesh sleeves or full air mesh, and we can all have the same design, but different material. That's really, really cool. Man, so I did want to touch on this. Anybody that's watching, you can see Darren's got a really cool background. Now, Darren, are you in the motorhome?
Yeah, I'm in the motorhome.
So I'm obsessed with Darren's motorhome, and if you're not watching, if you're listening, you need to go to YouTube and check this out. So, talk to us a little bit about do you travel to a lot of races? You're pretty involved in the local scene, right? Which is why you've got this insane motorhome that you're sitting in.
Yeah, so we do, and one of my businesses was property development, and when Moto Loco kicked off, I had no time for property development, so all of those skills went into this motorhome. But again, this was made for my dad. So when we used to do the first events, we had this little pop-up, and that's how we started this little 3 meter by 3 meter pop-up, I think it was, and we used to have all the stuff in the back of our Sprinter van, and then my dad would turn up with his caravan and he would sleep there, and we would sleep in the back of the Sprinter van. And obviously we soon grew to the point we needed to take more stock, and I wanted my dad to be comfortable, so we made this for him. So there's a similar to your RVs, because the American RVs are still winning, but this is pretty decent. So you've got a couple of bedrooms, you've got pull-out beds, you've got showers, you've got ovens and plasma TVs. So it's pretty cool. And I wanted to, this motorhome has a reasoning which we haven't really put into place yet, which is we support over 250 riders across the world, and we do a number in the UK of track days where they all come together and we get lots of content. But growing up, I was never one of the fastest kids. And I used to turn up at the track, and we was in with my dad's Volvo and a trailer on the back. And when I was freezing cold, Dad would say, "You're not getting in the car. You're going to make the interior dirty." So I always looked up to kind of like the kids with the big cool motorhomes and all the gear and the bikes and the mechanics. Yeah. So I would really like this year to take this. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID. So I'd really like to take this motorhome on tour and turn up with some of our support riders, and and some of them already have these, by the way, but kind of turn up and give them a little bit more, not factory support, because I know nothing about mechanics, but at least turn up and make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's cool, man. One of the things that I really, really like about you is everything that you're doing is rooted back to like a genuine cause. Like, this brand started because of a tie back to something for your dad, and what you just said about trying to make the experience better for local riders. Like, it's really cool to hear that. Obviously we're all in business to make money. We have to make money to stay alive, but there's a greater purpose to your brand, which I have a lot of respect for. I want to make sure people understand. So even though you're in England, and maybe this is the first time somebody in the United States has heard of Moto Loco, we can get your product here. And I want to make sure people understand that you've worked with Daniel, the Return of Dio on YouTube, as well as I think some other YouTubers as well, Vlog Epicness.
Darren Sanderson.
Yeah. So talk to us about that. Where can we get your product in the United States if it's something we're interested in?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, we actually, obviously there's always a lead time of like 15 to 25 working days for us to make the product. So that lead time remains the same wherever you are in the world. But it's quite funny. We can deliver something to America faster than we can the UK once we have the product. So we use FedEx, and FedEx have in fact, using Daniel as an example, he was the first person when we switched to FedEx that we sent a product to. The courier picked up at 1 p.m. on I believe the Tuesday. Daniel had it in his hand by 1 p.m. on the Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's a 48-hour service, but they managed to do it in 24 hours sometimes. So we use different couriers all around the world. The couriers and we subsidize all the shipping as well. So that's quite important to say. So you're not paying a fortune to get our product, and there's free shipping over a certain threshold. I forget what that is in America. It changes based on each country, but we already subsidize the shipping by about 30%. But yes, you can buy from all around the world. We've sent everywhere: Peru, Australia, New Zealand, all throughout Europe, Estonia, South Africa.
Wow.
34 countries and counting. That's
wild. Well, man, congratulations on what you've built, and again, it's really cool. There's a story behind it. There's just you're genuinely a good dude and doing some really cool things. And man, making some really great product. Like I knew the body warmer was gonna be good. But man, I've beat the hell out of that thing the last 2 weeks, and like it's still looks brand new, and man, it really does make a difference. So I'm looking forward to getting some more, getting in more gear and trying it out. And man, I encourage everybody to go take a look at what Darren is doing, with how he is growing his brand, what he's doing on social media. Take note of something that we kind of glossed over that he had mentioned. And when somebody shares with the world that they're using your product, man, the biggest mistake you can make is to not acknowledge that. It borderline comes off as a disrespect thing to somebody when they're trying to promote your product and you don't even reply to them. And I see that happen a lot in not just our industry, but several. So take note of those things that Darren had said, and apply some of these when trying to grow your brand. And Darren, man, I've enjoyed getting to know you. I know we stay in contact quite often, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that and getting you back on the show one of these days. And I appreciate you making time for us today. It was a really cool interview.
I appreciate you having me, and we need to get the rest of the team in the body warmers now.
Yeah,
give them the thumbs up. So touch base with me on Instagram, and we'll sort that out.
Absolutely, man. We'll do it. Well, I appreciate everybody listening to today's show. Actually, before I go, Darren, the Moto Loco, what's the URL? Just make sure everybody knows where can they find the product.
It's Moto, MOTO, hyphen Loco, LOKO.com, and the Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, YouTube is Moto Loco UK.
Awesome. Yeah, I
so
wanted to make sure. Yeah, no doubt. Be sure to check that out, guys. And thank you again for always listening. Be sure to go to racerxonline.com/moto marketing, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the Moto Marketing Podcast. If your goal is to get real, measurable results from your marketing that will grow your company revenue, then check out how Impact Media can get the same results that they have for Moto's most iconic brands by visiting thinkimpact.com. That's THINKIMPAKT.com. Have a marketing question that you want answered on the show? Send your questions to questions@motomarketingpodcast.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Moto Marketing Podcast.